Hey guys, it's Miss Clausen back with Stella, and we are starting this video off on chapter 14. Stella, sit over here, I hear Jenny calling me from across the cafeteria. I walk over with my tray. As I get closer, I can see Anna is there, sitting next to Jenny. My hands start to shake, which makes my chocolate pudding jiggle on the tray. I sit down next to Jenny. Anna waves hello. Thanks for letting me sit with you guys, says Anna. My best friend Isabel is sick today. I usually eat with her. She pouts a little bit. I quietly let out a sigh of relief. Yes, Anna has her own best friend. No problem. It's hard to eat lunch without your best friend, I say, smiling as I shove a chicken tender into my mouth. Thanks, Stella. Can I trade you an ants on a log for a chicken tender? Anna holds up a piece of celery with peanut butter with raisins. Sure, I reply. We exchange grins as we trade food. Any person who is willing to share food with me can be my friend. The more we talk, the more I can see why Jenny is friends with Anna. She has a cat, a goldfish, and is pretty funny. I can actually picture us eating lunch together again, maybe even with Isabel. Do you guys have your Valentine's Day cards ready for tomorrow? Asked Jenny. I do. Anna nods. I can't wait for the class party. I tied my lips. Almost. I'll finish them tonight. Usually I would have finished them by now, but selecting Valentine's Day cards this year has been tricky. Mom makes me give Valentines to all the kids in my class, even the ones I don't like. With most kids, I can give them something simple like Happy Valentine's Day. That works for Jessica, who I have to give one to. But I don't know which card to choose for Stanley. Happy Valentine's Day would be boring. I also can't choose the Be My Valentine card. No way could I do the Will You Be Mine card. When I get home from school, I finally choose You're the Coolest for Stanley because it's the truth. I also spend a lot of time writing out his name nicely. I hope when he reads it, he'll realize that I'm normal and not weird. Then things will get better in class. We might even be friends. While I write everyone else's name on their envelopes, Nick watches Jaws on television. I'm helping you research for your project, he says. Some help. I tried to hide behind the couch for most of the movie. Out of all the sea creatures, I'm most afraid of great white sharks. People say they don't attack humans that often, but after watching the movie, I'm not sure. Jaws, the great white shark in the movie, really seemed to like attacking people. The next day, I bring the cards from my classmates with me. There are balloons and hearts decorating the entire classroom. I spy Mom in the corner hanging up a streamer. Mom always takes a break from work to help out with the parties as the classroom mom. I love her being here. She makes it a little easier since she is so friendly and gets to know all the kids. Also, Mom is chatty enough for the two of us, so I follow her everywhere as she walks around the room. So there they all are. I think that is Stanley and his mom, and Stella and her mom. And that's probably Jessica. She looks mean. Alright. I'm busy eating a cupcake when I see Mom talking to Stanley. I've never told her about Stanley. He just cut his hair short, and it looks super soft. Mom says to him, I love your haircut. My son, Nick, just got his hair cut like that. Do you mind if I touch your hair? It looks like a teddy bear. Stanley just grins and says, yes, ma'am. Mom pets his head. Yep, just like a teddy bear. They both laugh and Stanley turns a little rojo. I'm surprised. I didn't think Stanley could ever get embarrassed. Then I hear Jessica whisper in my ear, are you hiding behind your mommy? I turn around, my own face rojo. Mom turns around too. Apparently Jessica wasn't quiet enough. Mom stands up extra tall and says, yes, I'm Stella's mother. Nice to meet you. Jessica drops her mouth open and her face goes blank. She's been caught in the act. I beam, yes, this is my mom. Unhappy that she can't say anything else to me, Jessica huffs, puffs, and walks away. Having Mom around is the greatest. After the Valentine's Day party, Mom drives us home. The radio starts playing my favorite song. I open my mouth to sing, but she lowers the music. You know, Stella, someone can only make you feel bad if you let them. It's just words. I can see her eyes looking at me in the rearview mirror. She looks worried. I hate making her worry. I hoped that she would never find out. It doesn't feel like it's just words. Plus, you're lucky everyone likes you. Not everyone likes me. I just decided I wasn't going to let it affect me as much. It'll work for you too, I promise. I look out the window. At the stoplight, I feel her hand reaching back to me. I grab onto it tight. It makes me feel safe. You're so much stronger than you realize. That's why your full name is Stella. You're my star. You can light up the dark. You promise you aren't lying? I look into her eyes in the rearview mirror. She looks right back at me and says, promise. Thanks, Mom. I don't 100% believe her, but Mom never lies. All right, there's a little thing for chapter 14. So it says, you are so much stronger. So at Stella's Valentine's Day party, her mom gives her words of encouragement. Read the quotes below and share what you think. So I'm going to read a quote, and I want you guys to tell me what you think it means. So, or like what it means to you. You can write it down and send it to me, or take a picture, or whatever you want to do. So it says, you know, Stella, someone can only make you feel bad if you let them. It's just words. So what does that mean to you? You can pause it after I ask the question. And the next one says, you're so much stronger than you realize. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you guys kind of think about it. And then we have another activity for this one as well. It's called Kind Valentine Wishes. So I want you guys to make a Valentine of your own. It can be to anybody you want it to be to. I know it's not Valentine's Day, so you don't have to write will you be my Valentine or something. But just kind of write something nice in a letter and ask if you can send it to one of your grandparents maybe, or maybe write a letter to your mom or your brother or your sister if you have any siblings, or maybe to a teacher and you can give it to them when we get back to school, or something like that. Or you could even send them a little email. I'm sure that they would enjoy that. All right, so we're going to get into chapter 15. Wow, Stella, that's such a great dolphin, Miss Bell says as she looks down at my project. She leans over to me. Can you do me a favor? We need a poster for the 3rd grade spelling bee tomorrow. Since you're an expert at drawing dolphins, would you be interested in doing it? I sit up and exclaim, yes. Wonderful. I'll give you the poster and materials. Ever since I shared Captain Robin Monkey with Miss Bell, she's been giving me extra projects. She also gives me story ideas all the time. Some of them are not that great, but I love that she talks to me as if I'm a good writer. Dolphins are also the mascot of my school. On the last day of 1st grade, we got to vote for a new mascot. I voted for the Dolphins because back then I mixed up cute little penguins with dolphins. I was really bummed when I saw a dolphin mural instead of a penguin mural when we got back from summer vacation. That's when I started learning all about fishes and all marine life. Come, Stella, let's go to the supply closet to see what you need. Together we select glitter, markers, and a poster board, as she puts it in the tote bag for me. I can't wait to see what you'll do, she says. As soon as I get home, I draw a dolphin jumping with big letters that spell out spelling bee. I even put glitter on the waves to make it feel more magical. I'm so happy that I even show Poncho. Look, Poncho, I say. He zips around his fishbowl. I'm pretty sure that means he likes it. The next morning, I proudly stare at my poster as I eat my bowl of cereal. It's so great that my poster will be on display for everyone to see. Then I start thinking about the spelling bee. I don't mind spelling out loud too much, but I also have never done a spelling bee in my life. I asked Nick, have you ever done a spelling bee before? Yep, they're pretty fun. Let's practice. I'll quiz you. Okay, I reply. Spell Bigfoot, he smirks. I groan. Okay, what about alligator? I groan again. Mom takes a sip of her cafe and says, I'm sure you'll do fantastico. Despite Mom's encouragement in the morning, I'm so nervous by lunch. Lauren is sitting with us today. Ever since we ate lunch together, she joins Jenny and me a couple times a week when she isn't reading. I'm about to ask Jenny about the spelling bee when Jessica interrupts us. Look, it's the weirdo twosome. I think about what Mom said on Valentine's Day, so instead of looking up at Jessica, I pretend to ignore her. My heart is racing, but I just look forward and talk to Jenny. What do you want to do next Saturday? My mom said that we could go to the movies. Jenny plays along. Ooh, I'll bring candy then. This makes Jessica angry. Did you guys hear what I said? I called you weirdos. Did you hear something? Jenny says, putting her hand to her ear. Nothing worth listening to, I reply. Ugh, says Jessica. She storms out. Wow, what's her problem? Whispers Lauren. We shrug. Then Jenny and I give each other a quick fist bump. Then I take a bite out of my delicious peanut butter sandwich. Secretly, I don't know if I could have been so brave without Jenny. However, I realize that Mom was right. Suddenly, I feel less nervous about the spelling bee. The spelling bee finally happens that afternoon back in the cafeteria. I see my poster hanging on stage. The other third grade classes did a poster too, but all the kids in my class agree mine is the best. Looks so good, Michelle gives me a high five. Even Stanley says so. At least I think so. I just see his mouth move, and I begin to turn away, but then I remember him turning Rojo on Valentine's Day. I force myself to stop and say to him, thanks, then turn around before he can say anything else. Since all of the classes in my grade are doing the spelling bee, Jenny is already there. I rush over to sit next to her. She's sitting next to Anna and another girl. Anna's smiling much more than any of the other times I've seen her. I know that's because the other girl has to be her best friend, Isabel. Being that happy is just what happens whenever you're near your best friend. After I say hi to Jenny and Anna, I whisper, hi, Isabel, as she waves back. And she waves back. I was right. Our principal, Miss Richards, is on stage with a microphone. She has her dolphin pin, which she only wears on special days. Welcome, third graders. Today is the annual spelling bee. We're going to be doing it alphabetically, of course. We will have prizes for those who make it to the second round and a big prize for the grand winner. Everyone claps. The prizes at our school are pretty awesome. Kids have won t-shirts, dolphin-shaped pencils, and even a pizza party. I whisper to Jenny, I hope we get a pizza party. Jenny nods. Miss Richards calls the students with a last name that starts with A to the stage. I start to get clammy hands and a sweaty forehead. I didn't know we had to go on stage. Trisha Abrahams heads to the microphone first. Miss Richards says, Trisha, please spell the word happiest. Trisha looks around, then she said, happiest. H-A-P-P-Y-E-S-T. Happiest. Miss Richards presses a buzzer, which makes a big noise. Sorry, Trisha, that's wrong. Good try. Take a seat back in the audience. Jessica Anderson, do you know? Miss Richards asked. Jessica sticks out her chest and says loudly, yes, it's happiest. H-A-P-P-I-E-S-T. Happiest. Miss Richards presses another buzzer, which makes a perky ding noise. She says, correct, Jessica. Please take a seat on the stage. I don't want to hear the noise. What if I get a word that I don't know how to spell, or worst of all, don't know how to say? My stomach starts to hurt. Maybe I could go to the nurse. I wish Mom didn't have to work. Some of the other kids get to go home when they go to the nurse, but Mom can only pick me up if it's an emergency. Maybe this is a real emergency. I mean, a stomachache could be a sign of something else that I don't even know about. Before I can figure out my escape plan, Miss Richards says, will all the children with the last names beginning with D come up to the stage? I look at Jenny and whisper, I don't want to. You'll be great, Stella. You got this, she says as she pats my back. It makes me feel a little better, but my legs feel wobbly like flan as I walk onto the stage. There are two students in front of me. The lights are so bright I can't even see what's going on. Then I hear Miss Richards say, Estrella Diaz, will you come up to the microphone? I gulp, nod my head yes, and walk up to the microphone. My hands and every part of me are shaking. Estrella, please spell disappear. I freeze. I wish I could disappear. If I spell it wrong, everyone's going to laugh. I look at Miss Bell, then Jenny. Both are smiling at me. I feel a little bit better, but my throat is closed up like I have cotton candy stuck in there. Then I remember what Mom said. I'm stronger than I realize. Finally, I close my ear. Disappear. D. Miss Richards says, louder, dear. I nod. D-I-S-A-P-P-E-A-R. Disappear. I hear a ding noise. Miss Richards says, correct. You get to move to the next round. Take a seat on stage. I'm surprised. That wasn't so bad. My voice didn't sound so weird on the microphone. It sounded okay. I sit down and wait for the next round. I actually can't wait to go again. So there's Stella with the microphone. It takes a long time to get through the rest of the students. There are about 80 of us all together, so there are many dings and ers. Jenny makes it through the next round, and of course, Stanley does too. The next word I have to spell is knowledge, and I of course know how to spell it. Knowledge. I swear the ding sounds a little better, a little bit more special the second time. I make it all the way to the third round or semifinals when I misspell the word dandelion. Honestly, hearing the noise wasn't so bad, especially since there are only 6 students left on stage with me. I get so caught up with the spelling bee that the only way I know I made it to the semifinals is that I get a pink ribbon with a gold star that says semifinalist. Chris Pollard ends up winning it all with the word Gregarious? I don't even know what that means. Stanley also has a pink ribbon, which is surprising. I thought he'd win it all. Maybe we're alike in some ways. Anyway, Jenny helps me put my ribbon on as soon as we walk past the dolphin mural, and then we link arms. We make ding and noises to each other. Maybe we sound like dolphins. No, better yet, robots, I whisper to Jenny. We both giggle as we start walking like robots. I wear my ribbon proudly the rest of the day. I can't wait to show Mom, I say quietly to myself. Then I say even softer, maybe the presentation won't be so bad. This time I kind of believe it too. All right, that was chapter 15. So chapter 15 says standing up to a bully. So in chapter 15, Stella decides to handle Jessica in a different way. She ignores her, and guess what? It makes her mad. What are some other strategies you could use to deal with a bully? What could you say? So, I want you guys to kind of think about that for a second. What would you do if you were in Stella's situation? You can pause it and think about it and write it down if you want to. I think that I would just kill him with kindness. That's what everybody says to do. So I think I would just kill him with kindness. Or, I don't know, maybe she's like that because she's jealous of Stella, so maybe I would invite her to sit with us or something, just be kind to her, and maybe she'd be kind back. But the next question says, do you think Stella ignoring Jessica was a good strategy? So again, you guys can pause it and write it down, think about it if you need to. I think that her ignoring Jessica was a good strategy because it seemed to make Jessica a little angry, and she didn't bother Stella anymore. She kind of just walked away. I was like, okay. So I think it was a good strategy, but let me know what y'all think. So there's another one for chapter 15 too, and it says spelling bee. So in chapter 15, Stella faces some of her biggest fears. She competes in the school spelling bee, and she makes it to the semifinals. So this my little book here wants you to draw a picture and write about a time when you were scared to do something, but you overcame your fears. So I want you guys to do that. When I went to y'all's classroom for on one of my very first days there, I had to present to you guys and share some pictures and some stories and my favorite things and stuff like that about my life. And I was so nervous because I thought that you guys were gonna laugh at me, or you guys were gonna be like, we don't care about this. But you guys were so sweet to me, and you were asking so many good questions, so that made me feel so much better. And I'm really glad that I did that because you guys got to know so much about me. So I really enjoyed sharing my life with you guys, and the questions you guys asked me were a lot of fun too. So alright, so there isn't one for chapter 16 either, so when I get to the end, I might go on to chapter 17, I might not, we'll see. Alright, so chapter 16. When Mom gets home from work, she makes a big deal about my spelling bee ribbon, which I don't mind. She cries, "Mi bebe." I usually don't like it when she says my baby in public, but at home it makes me hug her even more. This calls for a celebration. How about a trip to the biblioteca and some frozen yogurt afterward? I squeal and spell Y-E-S. That sounds like a great night. I also squeal because I love hearing the word biblioteca. It's such a fun word, and I love going to the library. Mom changes out of her suit. As soon as Nick and I see her in her jeans and her sweatshirt, we know it's time to go. Are you going to get any books for your project, Stella? She asks as she grabs her car keys. Excuse me, sorry guys. She grabs her car keys. I would like a book on starfishes. Mom, did you know that if a starfish loses an arm, I hide one of my arms behind my back and then stick it out? They can grow one back? I wiggle my hand in amazement. She nods. Did you know that some people are as strong as starfishes? What do you mean, Mom? You mean like superheroes, I ask? She laughs. I just mean that some people have to go through tough things and they can bounce back like Frida Kahlo. Oh, then I ask, who is Frida Kahlo? I'll tell you more about her in the car, says Mom. She's fascinating. I have a hair in my mouth. Ooh. Right. Turns out Frida Kahlo was a Mexican painter who made beautiful paintings. She was in a bus accident when she was very young and had to stay in bed for months. That's when she learned how to paint. She became one of the most famous painters ever. Wow, I exclaimed. Hearing about Frida makes me feel proud to be from the same country. We can get a book on her at the biblioteca tonight, Mom says as she pulls into the library parking lot. Now the library at school is pretty cool, but the public library near my house is incredible. It has 3 levels and beanbag chairs in the kids section. I like to go to the reference section and look at the huge books on marine life. They have so many pictures. The library also has art exhibits and art contests. One time I got 3rd place. We had to draw a scene from our favorite book, and mine was from James and the Giant Peach. It was a scene where the peach gets stuck on top of the Empire State Building. I found this really cool photo of the building so I could see how to draw it and added many little seagulls. Mom framed it at home and always says that one day it will be very valuable. When we get to the library, I see a sign near the front door that reads, Local Author Presentation in Auditorium. Mom, can we go, por favor? I ask. If I say please, Mom usually says yes. Mom looks at her watch and then at me. I'm giving her the biggest puppy dog eyes I can. She nods and gives me a kiss on the head. Nick says, It starts in 30 minutes. Time to move it, as he runs over to the graphic novels. In the meantime, I spot more books on marine life while Mom looks for a book on Frida Kahlo and some mystery novels for herself. Since I've already done research at the library for my project, I know exactly where the fish books are. I only have a few more fishes to go, and I also want to get more photos for the starfish page that I am finishing. I find a picture of a royal starfish that's blue with an orange border. Nick wanders over with a stack of graphic novels and peeks over my shoulder. I can't wait to draw it, I whisper. I'm sure it'll be great like the rest of your drawings, little Miss Frida Kahlo. I giggle. Do you think they'll have one at the shed aquarium? Nick shrugs his shoulders. Maybe. Also, Mom's a little busy with work, so I don't know when exactly we will go. Nick's been so great about the presentation. He told Mom about the shed aquarium idea, and now I just hope we can really go. We've also been brainstorming how to make my presentation more interesting, and he suggested that I should be a fisherman. That sounds a little boring, but then I came up with the idea of doing a submarine. I just need to finish my research before I start building it. Nick says, Come on, champ, time to go. I grab his arm and we run over to Mom, who is standing near the auditorium. We enter just as the show is starting. Not only is it an author, but it's a children's book author and a girl. She starts the presentation by reading out loud a few of her books. One of them is even in English and Spanish. How cool is that? Obviously, I understand both parts. Later, she speaks about how she got started as an author. She grew up in Texas like Stanley. Turns out she had problems speaking as a kid, just like me. She would switch the letters around. Everyone thought she wasn't really smart. Because of that, she read even more and made herself write all the time. Then she decided that's what she wanted to do when she grew up. I whispered to Mom, She's a starfish. She puts her arm around me and kisses me on the top of my head. Then I realized that maybe I'm a starfish too. My name is Stella after all. When I get home, I draw the royal starfish. As soon as I'm done, I whisper to Pancho, Don't tell anyone, but I might want to be an author one day. Pancho, of course, doesn't say anything. He's the best at keeping secrets. Alright, so that's the end of chapter 16. I want to see how much time. Alright, yeah, we're going to do chapter 17 real quick. Alright, so chapter 17. I'm in the middle of reading about narwhals when Dad picks us up. The narwhal is a type of whale. People think it has a giant tusk, but it's actually a tooth. Narwhals are extra special because they are rarely seen. People tried to keep them in captivity in the 1960s and 1970s, but sadly they kept dying. I only see Dad once or twice a year, and this time it's right before spring break. He's in Chicago for a week with my Tio Carlos. Apparently they are going to some sort of convention for my Tio's clothing store. When Dad arrives at our house, he is in a new car that I've never seen before. Dad always likes to drive instead of flying, so I must have gotten it back in Colorado. The new car is a sports car. You know, the one that looks like they go really fast. I'm used to this, though. Every time I see him, it's a new car. As we put on our seatbelts, he says that he's taking Nick and me bowling. Cool, says Nick. I don't say anything. I've never been bowling before. I'm excited, but I don't know what to expect. As soon as we get to the bowling alley, Dad says to us, You guys paying? He laughs. I look over to Nick. He's not laughing. I know why, too. Since Dad never sends us money, we never know when he will actually pay for things. Mom knows this, so she always gives us extra money when we go see him just in case he makes us pay. Nick, it's just a joke. Nick is still not laughing. Dad just shrugs. He goes over to the register. One adult and two kids. Dad opens his wallet. I see a picture of Nick when he was little. Then I see a picture of a baby. Who's that? I ask, pointing to the picture. You, he says. I'm a little surprised. Really? See, it's you. From your first passport picture before we moved to the United States. Vamos, let's get some zapatas on your feet. Apparently, you can't wear regular shoes on the bowling lanes. You have to borrow these really cool shoes that are colorful. I put them on. I think I might like bowling, I say to Nick. I kick my heels together like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Let's go, Twinkle Toes, Nick says. We walk over to the lanes and Dad enters our names into the computer. Then he hands me a few different balls to find one that I can bowl with. I find a bright orange one that I can actually carry. Senoritos primero, says Dad. I like it when Dad says girls go first. Nick blows a raspberry. I'm all smiles until I walk towards the lane. The floor is slippery and I get all nervous trying to lift the ball. It feels too heavy. What do I do, Dad? I ask. It's not rocket science. Just roll the ball, says Nick. I turn rojo this time because I'm angry. Just because I'm new to something doesn't mean I'm stupid. I wish that I were a narwhal right now so I could poke Nick with my giant tooth. Instead, I stick my tongue out at Nick. Then I roll the ball. It goes nowhere near the white pins. In fact, my first two balls go right in the gutter. Nick goes next. He's much better than me and knocks a few pins over. Dad is really good. He knocks over all the pins. I don't know much about bowling, but he kicks out his leg like the professionals. Dad, how come you're so good? I ask. Well, I used to go bowling a bunch when I was a teenager. He reties his shoes and looks at me. I wasn't very close to my parents. They were more concerned with their parties than with your tea or me. Once I no longer had a nana or a nanny. I spent all my time with my friends bowling or playing pool. I feel sad for a second. I never thought about Dad as a kid. It sounds kind of lonely. I love spending time with Mom and Nick. I look at him. I say in Spanish, Dad, could you teach me how to bowl better? Claro que sí, mi amor, Stella. Of course, my love, he says. He shows me how to line up my feet. Hold on. So there they are. Stella and her dad bowling. Right. So he shows me how to line up my feet with these little arrows first. Next, he shows me how to swing my arm better and finally how to let the ball roll. When I do it by myself, the ball goes slower than it did before, but it's going straight down the middle. I actually knock over some pins, almost all of them. Way to go, Stella, says Nick. He gives me a high five. Dad kisses the top of my head. I smile. For a moment, I miss having him around. After we finish bowling, Dad drops us off at the house. Before you go, he says, grabbing a box from the back seat. Here are new coats for the two of you. I see the tags. They're from my T.O. store. Dad gives Nick and me each a coat. I try mine on. It's too big. It's also pink with fur. I like pink, but a whole pink coat is too girly for me. Still, I say gracias. I look over at Nick and I giggle. His coat is way too small. It's so tight around his shoulders he can't even put his arms down. Oh, I guess you grew more than I realized. You're going to be as tall as your uncle. Nick just shrugs and hands him back the coat. I'll mail you a new one, Dad says. Nick looks at me. We both know that is never going to happen. I give Dad a hug goodbye. I feel a little sad again. My dad is not all terrible. He just doesn't know better. It's like the people who used to hunt narwhals. People used to think that narwhals were related to unicorns. They didn't know they were regular sea mammals and weren't magical. I think part of Dad just doesn't realize he's not doing a good job at being a father. Then again, I don't think he knows how. It doesn't sound like he had really great parents. Nick and I are lucky because at least we have Mom. Nick puts his arm around me as we go back inside our house. As we open the door, I smell something wonderful. Mom is in the kitchen making albondigas again. I run into the kitchen and hug her tightly around her waist. Whoa, Stella, you surprised me. I look at her. I love you, Mommy. I love you more, she says as she hugs me back. That is so cute. Oh. All right, so we're done with chapter 17. I have a little thing. So chapter 17 is called Dad. So it just is asking us some questions. So it says, what do we know? I want you guys to answer this. I'm not going to answer these with you like I normally do. So I want you guys to answer these either in your head or on a piece of paper. Just think about them. but you can pause after each question so you have time to think about it or write it down if you want to. So, what do we know about Stella's dad? Is the first question. What is Stella's relationship with her dad? So just tell us, I mean, obviously he is her dad and she is her daughter, but what kind of relationship do they have? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it medium? And explain whether it's good or bad or medium or whatever. And the third question is, what does Stella mean when she says, my dad is not all terrible, he just doesn't know better? What do you guys think that she means when she says that? So again, you guys can go back and listen to me read the questions again if you need to. I hope you guys enjoyed me reading these few chapters and tune in for the next one.